I want you to do me a favor. I want you to look back on your days and just think about during the day, on an average day, what kind of liquid intake do you have? Just think about it. Like, what are your habits? I know for me personally, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I love tea. I'm addicted to tea, but especially tea that heals my body and nourishes my body. So every single day, I have a green tea because green tea is just one of the best things you can do for yourself. I consider it a superfood. And then I'll have a different kind of tea depending on what I'm working on. I'm always working on something different. So sometimes it'll be milk thistle or just whatever nutrient I'm trying to get into my body. I'll be drinking an herbal tea related to that because I love warm tea. And then I just put a little splash of non GMO soy milk in it just to give it that that it needs. I haven't put sugar in anything for I don't know how long. Actually, I have a thing of sugar. It's been in my cupboard for forever. And the only reason I used to use it was to feed the hummingbirds. And then, even then, I realized that it wasn't good for the hummingbirds. And so I planted flowers that are hummingbird friendly. So this sugar is just sitting in my cupboard. So I don't put sugar in anything. But back in the day, I used to drink decaf coffee. So once I started having children, I went to decaf coffee, but I would love a Tim Hortons extra large double double. That was my jam. And it wasn't even caffeinated, but it was just the sweetness, the warmness, just the whole ambiance, the whole feeling of that coffee brought out really good emotions. And so I was addicted to more that feeling. But these days I don't add sugar to anything. And sometimes I go to Timmy's and get that decaf with just two creams just for nostalgia. And accidentally they put in two sugars. And I was like, damn, this is disgusting because I've changed over the years. But tea is my jam now. And I'm going to be honest, green tea is not decaf, but the other herbal teas that I drink are decaf. So for me, I weigh the pros and cons. So for me, even though I don't want to be taking in caffeine, caffeine makes me crazy. I feel like I've lost control. I can't focus. My heart races. My brain goes 1,000 miles an hour. But when I have the green tea, it doesn't do that because I'm used to it. But the benefits of the green tea outweigh the fact that it has caffeine in it for me. So that is a yes, a hard yes every single day. That is a non-negotiable for me. And then throughout the day, what else do I drink? I don't drink anything else except for water. I'm just a tea and water kind of girl. And I'm curious what you drink. What is your daily habit? Because all the things that we drink are just a habit. And when we have a habit, a lot of the times we're not aware of this habit. So I just wanted to bring awareness to kind of what your your beverage habits are. Because I'm trying to think of alcohol. I don't really drink alcohol either. Now, don't get me wrong, I used to. I went to college. I worked in the film industry. So I've had my days of drinking for sure. But I just, after having kids, I didn't drink as much. And then when I really started to get serious about my health and learn about my health, become a holistic nutritionist, doing all of the things, then alcohol became very, very limited because it's just a toxin in your body. And I have had this conversation with my kids recently about me thinking that people don't know that alcohol is a poison or toxin to their body. And my kids are adamant. They're like, yeah, people know. People know that it is toxic. Well, actually, they said people might not know that it's toxic or a poison, but they do know that it's bad for them. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I just thought that because, growing up, they're telling us that our doctor smoked this kind of cigarette. So, and drinking and driving was never a thing. That's what people did. People never wore seatbelts. People did like all of these things way back in the day were just, I think that was more like my parents' generation that did all those types of things that were just a thing. But now there's the awareness of our health. And so they're adamant that people are aware that alcohol is bad for you. Now, having said that, every once in a while I will maybe have a drink, but also I notice that it affects my body differently. So it's just not worth it for me. It doesn't make me feel good. It has all the negative effects. I feel tired. I feel headachy, even just after one drink. So it's rare that I'll have a drink. And if I do have a drink, I know that I'm consciously making a choice to put this into my body, even though I know that it's doing harm. And I'm just curious about everybody else out there, like my age. Do they know that alcohol is toxin, that it's bad for us, that it's poison for our body? I just curious. Let me know. Somehow message me, let me know if you think, or if you know, if you're aware, if you're consciously aware. That's what it is. And for me, I think as long as we're making conscious choices, that's all that I could ask. As long as you have the information and you know and you're making a conscious choice, that's brilliant. Now, when it comes to pop, it's the same thing as alcohol. I find that is a toxin to the body as well, for different reasons, for the sugar reasons, and especially for the no calorie pops, because those sweeteners are just straight up carcinogenic for our body. They're horrible, and we should never ever consume these. So I've never been a fan of pop. I've never been addicted to pop. So that wasn't a really very hard one for me, but I'm curious if that's something that you're addicted to. And then I wonder why, like what makes it addictive? And if it's the bubbles, is it possible for you to get bubbles somewhere else? These are just questions that I ponder in my head. Or does it have an emotional attachment to it? Are you drinking pop because it reminds you of weekends with your dad taking you somewhere, doing something, like an emotional attachment to it? And then there's juices. And juices are just high in sugar because, yes, fruit is amazing, but why is fruit amazing when it has the sugar? Because it has the fiber. So when you have a juice, you've taken the fiber out of it. A lot of people will ask me if it's okay to eat fruit because it's high in sugar. And it is, but the fiber is the antidote. The sugar is the poison and the fiber is the antidote. So you can't go wrong with fruits. And some fruits are higher in sugar and some are lower. Like the berries is always a good choice. And blueberries, I just don't think get enough credit. They're kind of like the heroes. But juice in general is no bueno. I would stay away from juice. The reason this is on my brain, the reason I'm talking about your drinking habits, the liquids that you consume, is because I'm doing a deep dive on how to heal your body, especially in menopause. And one of the number one things that we need to do in menopause is make sure that we get enough water. Water is the key. But this is kind of a double-edged sword because where I live, the city water, they put chlorine in it to kill all the bacteria, which makes sense. But chlorine is not good for our bodies. And they also put fluoride in it, which is also not good for our bodies. So it's a kind of a catch-22. You need to drink more water, but you don't really want to drink that water because of the chemicals in it. So I have a really good water filtration system that I totally trust and I heavily rely on. And actually, my kids researched it and bought it because they are totally, these little kids that wouldn't need anything now, they're all about health. They're all about food and water, healing their bodies. So it's quite amazing as a mom to be like, you go, boys. But on the other side of it, if you're going to drink your water, you need to know what kind of water you're drinking. It's really, really important. It's one of the most important things that you can do. And I think it's overlooked. And I think we need to put more time and effort into it. Because when you think about it, the number one thing that you need to survive is oxygen. And the number two thing is water. Now, why is water so important? Water is so important because our brains are 85% water and our bodies are 75% water. So all the functions that happen in our body are related to water. And the beautiful thing about our bodies, because I always relate everything to nature, right? What does nature need to grow? It always needs water. If there's no water, nothing's happening. If there's no water, people don't live there. If there's no water, trees and flowers don't grow. No animals will be there. And our body is the same. Our body needs this water because our body is nature. And in our body's brilliance, because remember, our body is designed to heal itself. We just need to give it all the things so it's in homeostasis. And in our bodies, one of our body's many, many ways to keep everything looking good and feeling good and moving forward is what's called drought management. And so if our body doesn't have enough water, that's dehydration, and our body goes into drought management. And there are so many ways that it does this. Like, it's too much to get into on this podcast because I could just go on forever. So I'm just going to sum it up. When we don't have enough water, our body will stop doing certain functions in order to preserve water. And then our body will show symptoms of dehydration, but they can appear to be other things. And usually a doctor will see that symptom as something other than dehydration and then treat that symptom with a medication. And now we're way off track. As soon as we give a medication for something that's dehydration, and then there's all the side effects of that medication, that's when everything starts to go awry. And now your body can't possibly deal with this medication. It can't clear it out or heal it. Same as chemicals in our food, because it's not organic. These are not organic compounds. And then our body's like, I don't know what to do. And that causes all sorts of different problems. And so our job, in order for our body to totally do what it needs to do, is to make sure that we are hydrated, that we're properly hydrated. That is the number one thing that we want to do. And we can solve for a lot of problems that appear to be something else if we are properly hydrated. And I am telling you this because look at all these things that I do with health, and I am not properly hydrated. That's why I needed to tell everybody about this, because I'm thinking, oh my God, if my main purpose in life is to heal my body and teach others how to do it, and I can't get enough water in, then what about the person who has no idea about their health? I'm sure that they're not getting enough water in either, and we need to change this. It's the easiest thing you can do to make the biggest health changes in your body. I promise you. And there's a couple reasons why I have trouble drinking water. One is, especially in the cold, like it gets cold in the winter, I hate drinking water when it's cold out. It's just hard for me to do. Two is, when I chug a lot of water, I just pee it out all the time. So then it's like I'm running to the bathroom all the time. And that's a headache. I don't want to be doing that. And then a lot of the times too, if I drink a lot of water, my left leg will get swollen. Left leg, because I have old knee injury things. And that's no fun either. But the biggest thing is I don't want to be running to the bathroom all the time. And in this deep dive into hydration, I learned that that is a sign that your body's cells are not absorbing the water. And that's feedback going, hey, the water's not going where it needs to go. That's a huge, huge, huge red flag if you're chugging water and then you're having to pee all the time. We need to get the water into those cells so that the cells can work their magic and do everything that they need to do. Because all of these chemical actions that happen and reactions are all based on water. It's just so mind-blowing. And we don't need to be scientists to know this, but what we do need to know is that when this happens, it's because the water isn't going into the cells. And the number one way you can get the water into the cells is by using Celtic sea salt. So that Celtic sea salt has 87 minerals in it. And that allows your cell, which has the proton pump, so it's like potassium and sodium, there needs to be the perfect amount, and the pumps are pumping in and out all the different minerals that need to make this happen. And it's full of this. The Celtic sea salt has 3 magnesiums, and magnesium is like thirsty. It's like water thirsty molecule, so it helps the water get into the cells. And when you do this, you will drink your water, and your water will stay in your system and do what it needs to do. It will get to the cells, and now your cells can work their magic. So there's so much more to this that I want to tell you, and I get so excited when I just learn new, amazing, life-changing stuff that is super simple and won't cost you anything, like to drink water, that is just this simple. But nobody wants you to know that because there's no money to be made in that. But I want you to know that because I want you to be healthy. I want you to live the best midlife that you can live. And the best way to do that is by being a healthy person, having a healthy body, and it starts with water. And the person who I'm studying with now says water is a nutrient. And I want us to believe that. I want us to really think about that. Water is a nutrient. So now when I drink my water, I think, oh my gosh, I'm nourishing my body. The same as when I eat goji berries, the same as when I drink green tea, because I really get excited when I eat foods or drink drinks that are nourishing my body, that are superfoods. That encourages me to do it. And when I take the Celtic sea salt and drink the water and it stays in my system, I'm like, damn, this is so powerful. And I want the same for you. So if you do nothing else, you could do Himalayan sea salt, but you want to source it from a really fantastic place. So where I live, Palm, they have amazing Celtic sea salt. You can order it online, Celtic sea salt. It's the way it's processed that makes it so powerful. Like in sea salt, there's 92 minerals, and by the time they're drying it, like naturally drying it, there's still 82 minerals in it. In table salt is not the same. Table salt has like two minerals in it, and if you take those 2 minerals ingest it too high in the human body, it will kill you. So table salt is just salt that has been totally like bleached and all the minerals taken out of it. So if you have high blood pressure, you can't take table salt. But if you have high blood pressure, you could start with 1 grain of Celtic sea salt to start lowering your blood pressure and getting the water into your cells. So table salt is no bueno, it's no good. Stay away from that stuff. But the Celtic sea salt is the answer. And then you're going to notice that you're going to start to be hydrated. How much water do we need? We need 8 cups. That's minimum, because this awesome body of ours will use 8 cups of water throughout the day to do all the processes. So and then we lose 8 cups. So we pee it out, we sweat it out, we breathe it out. All the things, every function is using water. And that's why when you're dehydrated, your body starts to stop some of those functions in drought management mode that we're not even aware of until we see the symptoms of it that appear to be things other than what it is, like asthma, headaches, overeating, all of the things, being lethargic, there's so many things that just drinking water can heal naturally and you don't need medications for. And this is why I'm so passionate about it. If you have caffeinated drinks, then that counts as minus a cup because it's pulling the water out of your system. It's a diuretic. So you want to stay away from the caffeine as much as possible. Stay away from the juices, just water, because it's a nutrient for your body. So all you have to remember is 8 cups of water a day, as clean as possible water. If you can get filtered water, if you can create filtered water in your home, keep the water away from plastic. We don't want our water in plastic ever, ever, ever. And we want to drink 8 glasses, and we want to take some Celtic sea salt with it to get the water into the cells where it needs to be so it can work its magic. I feel like I am telling you the secret to life here, the secret to health, the secret to weight loss, the secret to longevity. I feel like this is the answer, and I want you to be so excited about what I just told you that I want you to stop listening to this and go to the store and buy the Celtic sea salt right away, and then put in your phone timing when you're going to drink your water. Another thing about water before I go is that you don't want to chug it all at once. You want to spread it out throughout the day. Because remember, your body doesn't produce water. The only way you get water is if you put it into your system. Your body doesn't produce it. So you have to put it into your system. It's critical that you do that. And the other thing I wanted to say is when you're eating food, you want to watch your water intake. So you should be drinking your water throughout the day. But when you're going to eat, you want to stop half an hour before you eat. So make sure you're hydrated, because a lot of the times we overeat because we think we're hungry, but really we're thirsty. That's a game changer. That's why this is so important for weight loss. We're overeating because we're thirsty. So if you are drinking your water, and then you stop drinking half an hour before you eat, and you don't want to drink water while you're eating, and then you don't want to drink water 2 hours after you've eaten, because when you are digesting food, your stomach uses hydrochloric acid. And when you drink water, it dilutes the hydrochloric acid and it makes it harder for your body to digest the food. So if you're thirsty during a meal, then by all means, sip some water. But for the most part, the guideline rules are half an hour before your meal, don't drink water, don't drink during your meal, and then 2 hours after, so your body can digest that food and get the nutrients out of the food. But if you're thirsty, always sip water. But that's the guidelines. That's how important it is. And so the timing of the water is critical. So when you wake up first thing in the morning, have 2 cups right away. Your sea salt, have that right away. And that's how you're starting your day. And then the rest of the cups, you spread throughout the day and avoid while you're eating. And this is a game changer. I want you to do this. And then I want you to do this for a month. Be really religious about it. Just do. And then I want you to email me and tell me how much your life has changed and how amazing it is now that you see water as a nutrient and you're giving it the attention that it needs and treating it like it's the powerful liquid gold that it is. Just promise me, go do it for 1 month and watch everything change. Thank you for listening. Always, always, always love yourself first and have an amazing day.